you get into cane? Did you grow up doing it?
No, I was around the Kites. They were neighbors. I saw him, old man Kite and the dad. I seen them make it, but I guess I've just been interested in doing it myself. No long history family. I know my grandpa made it, but that was way before my time. They make like deep fry cookers. What's that company that does them fancy? Bayou Classic.
Bayou Classic.
I think they still sell from 10 gallon all the way to 90 gallon.
That's the biggest one I've ever seen.
What we want is an actual syrup kettle, which is shallower and bigger surface area. Because the key to cooking off syrup is evaporation. Of course, larger the surface area, more evaporation. Like you can evaporate a gallon of water out of each square foot. So that's why evaporator pans that are 8 foot long and 4 or 5 foot wide, you got a lot of surface area, and so your evaporation process is a lot less time. But this, depending on the line of the juice, you know, we might have 5 square foot or 6 or 7. So faster you get the water to evaporate, faster you make syrup.
Yes, sir. You see how I got in there? And we borrowed somebody else's sugarcane mill. We did it, and I was like, man, I got it. Honestly, I hate the water. That's awesome. That's what my wife is. Good job. Now Josh needs some help.
Yeah, you need to make sure that it stays.
Put it up on there. All right, come back. Now y'all been seeing them, they fly that way.
How do y'all advertise it? Triple filter?
yeah. All right, just throw that right there. That's probably enough. Let's leave yours there. Come on with yours.
it goes. See how it's rolling around the edges?
How do you know if it's getting too hot?
It won't get too
Oh
hot.
no, I mean this all pretty much what we're doing right now is like cooking all the water out of it. So
It'll stay like at
it'll be
212
like this for
boiling
hours,
point.
and then at the very end it'll get real bubbly, and then that's when we'll put the thermometer in there, and when it gets to the right temperature, we'll push the fire back and scoop the cane syrup into the pans. But the fire pretty much stays the same the whole time until we go to kill it, and then we just push it all the way back to get it off the pot.
He tries to just keep it at a good roll like that until it goes. Hey, I've been around him long enough, I done learned he does all the work. No matter how much he does, he's gonna be done it all.
You know, the community, like Elyan, he was there as a kid, he saw this. He said they'd be wagons and stacks of cane. You might have 5 or 6 people in the community, everybody didn't own one of these. And so they brought their cane, and the guy that had this in the cook vat, he'd take a tenth or whatever their deal was. Of course, he'd have more syrup. Not that they needed to consume it, but he used that to barter for flour and everything else. But we become an asset to a community now. It's at 224.
Well, the other one was a little higher.
Oh yeah, no problem. I like those a little bit better than what Grandpa buys.
So we started talking about the ratio. Cane syrup, the ratio to juice to syrup is 10 to 1. 10 gallons of juice to make 1 gallon of syrup. Whereas maple syrup is 40. It might be in the 30, some, you know, depending on who you ask, but that's a good ballpark, 40 to 1 for maple syrup. And the temperature range is, maple syrup is drawn off at 270 degrees, and that's actual temperature. And then cane syrup, anything above 217 but below 234. 234, you're in the softball candy stage. So, you know, some people take it off. You know, we have our mark, we just don't tell anybody. It's not a big deal, but we like a particular type of thickness.
You got 218 stills. Nope, 219.
So those are running the same?
Mm-hmm.
These are 2 new thermometers we got this year, so we're like, we checked them with slush ice, and both of them hit 32, which is, you know, calibration check, but one of them kind of went up a little bit, and then it went back to 32, but they're close, so they're pretty much calibrated.
That's why I got $2
Now you're seeing it, it's thick, but it ain't sheeting. All those bumps will kind of go together, and you'll get a full kind of sheet. Like right there, you can see, oh, it just dropped off. But you'll get the sheeting. Neat thing that happens to the foam on the top, we call clouding. It's like, it'll be real small bubbles, and the big bubbles are the small bubbles will be so close, and they'll start rolling in on each other. It's like you see the big Columbus clouds or whatever they're called, just kind of rolling on each other. So we look for that in the sheeting, but I always tempt it too, because to be honest with you, I've been watching that sheeting for years and ain't quite got it yet. So and you can see we barely have a fire in there now. I mean, compared to the big roaring fire. But of course, it's got a bed of coals, so it don't take a lot to finish her off. And we try to go kind of slower at the end. You want to try some of it? That's about how thick. It's kind of cool. I've been kind of cooling in there.
Sure.
So you boil your syrup until it's gone 212, 212 being the boiling point of water.
Right.
And then you're going to boil it out until it's boiling at a hotter temperature than the water originally would have been.
It's boiling right now at 219, which just tells me by science or physics that it has more sugar content than water, because water is only ever going to boil at 212 in this geographical area. So for it to boil at a higher temperature, then it'd have to have more sugar content than water content. Of course, it still has water in it until you went completely to crystallization or hard candy. Then, you know, but yeah, and you know, if you're at a different altitude, then your boiling point changes, and so it would change your boiling point of your syrup.
Put them all in one spot and cook.
Yeah, there's 10 of them.
10 of them.
Yes, sir.
Woo!
Just 3 more hours, they'll be ready.
Yeah, we always joke because it seems like the last from like 217 to where we go to seem like it takes the longest time, you know. So it's like, all right, we're always joking, only a few more hours. But it is what it is. So the bubbles on that, they're getting a lot tinier. See how fine those bubbles are there compared to those? When the whole part starts to get real fine bubbles, you'll see they'll just roll on each other. We call it clouds. We didn't come up with that, somebody else did. But we don't need this right now. It'd be more for cleanup, but we got it when we need it.
224? Or did it go up? I can't see now.
The other one was at,
It's at 224.
well, the other one was a little higher.
Oh, yeah.
Big sheet trying to come off. You see how sticky the sheet? There comes the big sheet. We're really close.
Oh.
I was gonna throw this in. Us double dipping, I wasn't gonna pull it out.
Okay.
Y'all go ahead and start dipping out though. Right here, I'll get it. I'm just moving the fire. Yeah, just pick it up and hang it tall so it gets cool. The only method we have to turn the heat off is to push the coals to the back. People do it all kind of ways. They pull them out on sheets of tin. But we kind of add that into our tip because we always know that it's still cooking until we actually remove it from the heat. We cut ours like 2 weeks earlier to allow it to actually, the moisture to leave it, if you will. That's what we call it. Here, don't hold us up there. We go in.
Elyan, you ready?
Where's the glove go? Got old drip cans up behind you, John.
Yes, sir.
All right, we good?
Yep.
Did I just spray y'all?
Go ahead and whip me. I don't care. I seen how it was like. I'm just a
Yeah,
little...
he was asleep last night, and I think that's probably.
Oh, you've done that every year. Actually, I prefer this
It's gotta
actually.
be that. It's gotta be. Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna put those in the smoker?
You gotta be careful using a wood handle hoe. That sucker will burn on you. Yeah.
Hey, that might be. Well, good thing it did fall upward.
Probably just wipe it off, bro.
That's good.
Get any foam? A couple more, yeah.
For one,
6 gallons,
go like this.
1 quart,
The way.
6 gallons, 2 quarts. So we got 6 gallons, 2 quarts, and a pint
Look at that.
plus
Sky.
a half a pint. So that's a above average yield to 10 to 1. We started with like 55 gallons, so we're above the 10 to 1 ratio, which is good. It means the sugar content on the cane was a lot higher. Woo.